In the annals of history, there are moments that defy explanation, events so enigmatic that they become the stuff of legend. The Roswell Incident of 1947 is one such chapter, a story that has captivated the world's imagination for generations. It was a hot summer day in Roswell, New Mexico, when the unimaginable occurred, a crash that would change the course of history forever. The official story released by the U.S. military was that it was a weather balloon. Consequently, this swiftly transformed Roswell into a hotbed of speculation, controversy, and government secrecy. But what really happened on that fateful day? Join us on a journey through time and secrecy as we unravel the mysteries surrounding the Roswell Incident of 1947, the Roswell Incident, and the Interdimensional theory. On July 8, 1947, a crucial event took place. It became forever linked to the Roswell Incident in New Mexico and shed light on a groundbreaking theory about mysterious objects. Surprisingly, it was on this very day that a theory involving interdimensional explanations first emerged, offering a possible source for the puzzling UAP phenomena. However, this theory remained relatively unknown for the next 30 years. Slowly but steadily, it started gaining recognition. As we delve deeper into this intriguing revelation, it becomes clear that the complexity and mystery surrounding unidentified objects go far beyond earthly explanations. On that specific day, Colonel Jesse Marcel made a public statement via a press release. He indicated that the United States Air Force had successfully recovered an unidentified flying object along with advanced beings following a crash in New Mexico. Unfortunately, a subsequent press release was issued, significantly changing the information presented in the initial statement. It transformed the crashed object from an unidentified object to a weather balloon. This revision unquestionably altered the narrative surrounding the incident. The updated and improved theory about the weather balloon incident doesn't really tell us much about why Colonel Marcel, a highly respected military figure known for his role in delivering the first nuclear weapons, mistook a weather balloon for an alien craft carrying otherworldly remains. This event is quite puzzling, especially because it coincided with the world witnessing three major phenomena on a grand scale: unidentified flying objects, extraterrestrial theories, and the intriguing idea of interdimensional origins for these enigmatic objects. Colonel Marcel, with his impressive military track record, found himself in a rather bewildering situation that day. A seasoned military officer, amidst the backdrop of a world captivated by strange flying things, suddenly confuses a mundane weather balloon with something truly out of this world. But what makes this incident even more captivating is the introduction of three monumental concepts on a global scale. First, you have UFOs, these unidentified flying objects buzzing around the skies, sparking endless debates and curiosity. Second, the notion of extraterrestrial life and its connection to these UFOs had taken root in the collective imagination, adding an extra layer of intrigue to the mix. And third, the idea that these phenomena might be tied to another dimension, brought to the forefront by brilliant minds like Jacques Vallée, added a whole new dimension of wonder to the conversation. It's important to highlight that the interdimensional hypothesis, though not immediately embraced, gained traction thanks to esteemed scientists like Vallée. This alternative theory suggested that maybe, just maybe, these extraordinary occurrences had their roots in dimensions beyond our own. The year UFOs invaded the FBI vault. The FBI vault? It's like a treasure chest of secrets and holds a mind-boggling collection of declassified files. These files are like time capsules, allowing us to peek into the mysterious tales of the past. Among all the intriguing topics that capture our attention, none are as enduringly fascinating as those that involve unidentified objects and aliens. Deep within the vault, where the FBI guards its most enigmatic records, you'll find a treasure trove of documents. These papers shine a light on the extraordinary phenomenon of UFOs and extraterrestrial encounters. They're like a puzzle with missing pieces, each page containing secrets that continue to bewilder and captivate our imagination. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll uncover a particular gem within this vast collection, the Memorandum of Importance. This document has drawn the intense interest of those who tirelessly investigate these otherworldly events. The story surrounding this document is far from simple. It's not just a case of opportunists using the cloak of public service with a sprinkle of the supernatural. No, if you're curious enough to dive into the depths of this story, you'll find a narrative that's as intricate as a spider's web. Crucially, remember that all of this unfolded in the year 1947, a time when the world was still grappling with the aftermath of World War II, and the idea of visitors from beyond our planet was as thrilling as it was perplexing. The untold story of J. Edgar Hoover's UFO cover-up. It's absolutely mind-blowing to think about J. Edgar Hoover, the big shot in charge of the FBI, and how he handled things. He didn't seem too bothered about making sure justice was served or keeping the public in the loop. Instead, he was like this extremely conservative guy who went way off the usual path. His ideas were totally different from those who cared about fairness, equality, and telling the truth. Fast forward to 2010, and we get a sneak peek into some FBI secrets thanks to the Vault page. One of these secrets is Memo 6751, written back in July 1947 by an FBI agent with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Now, here's where things get shady. Hoover, under the banner of national security, decided to erase a report based on an interview with someone who'd seen a UFO. This revelation opens a whole new can of worms about UFOs and the efforts to keep that info under wraps. This memo, an official piece of paper, basically says, "Hey, there are advanced beings out there." That's a big deal, and it's backed up by John D'Souza, a former FBI officer. So, imagine the implications. Hoover, with all his secretive ways, unintentionally spilt the beans about beings from another world. It's like a page out of a sci-fi thriller, but it's real. The hidden mysteries of Round Robin and the flying roll. Based on the discoveries shared in the report, something truly extraordinary has been unveiled. Within the vast fabric of diverse species, there exists a phenomenon that defies conventional explanation. Imagine encountering not only beings from distant planets, but also entities from alternate dimensions. Specifically, these enigmatic beings originate from a realm known as the ethereal plane, which exists alongside our familiar physical universe. Visualize these ethereal entities as towering and majestic figures with captivating transparency, resembling colossal specters. It's as though they materialize before us, pushing the boundaries of our comprehension of reality. The central idea explored in this report revolves around the concept known as the interdimensional hypothesis. This hypothesis proposes that sightings of unidentified objects have their origins in alternate dimensions. Interestingly, this theory emerged around the same time as the well-known Roswell Incident in 1947. In this intriguing case, the individuals from the FBI who were involved intentionally concealed the identity of the memo's author. However, they left behind two intriguing clues, similar to breadcrumbs for us to follow. These clues are referred to as Round Robin and the flying roll, and they guide us on a captivating journey of discovery. Round Robin was a newsletter created by Newton Mead Lane in 1946. This publication delved deeply into the realm of arcane knowledge, much like the renowned Charles Fort. However, due to financial constraints, Lane opted for mimeographing as the distribution method instead of traditional printing. This choice marked only the beginning of his venture into the unknown. Lane's curiosity and desire to share his discoveries led him to introduce the flying roll. This expansion was designed to reach wider audiences, expanding and augmenting his impact on the world of arcane knowledge and unexplained phenomena. It's as if Lane embarked on a journey to bridge the gap between our world and the enigmatic realms beyond. Intriguingly, the connections between Lane's publications and the interdimensional hypothesis hint at a deeper and more intricate web of mysteries waiting to be unravel-led. The report not only sheds light on these ethereal entities, but also invites us to question the boundaries of our understanding, inviting us to explore the unknown with open minds and a sense of wonder. Metaphysical concepts and UFOs. The idea of multiple universes existing alongside our own has been a long-standing concept in human history. It's widely recognized that our physical senses provide only a limited view of reality, and there's a broader realm beyond our observable universe. This concept of additional unseen universes underscores the belief that our universe is just one piece of a much larger cosmic puzzle. In his quest to understand mysterious objects, Lane attempted to connect them with his previous experiences in exploring the unseen. In his document titled Memo 6751, he clearly states that these unidentified flying objects don't originate from the commonly discussed astral plane. Instead, they seem to correspond to metaphysical concepts like locus or talus. Lane assumes that individuals with a background in esoteric knowledge will grasp the significance of these terms. In simpler terms, unidentified objects are considered vehicles that enable travel between different dimensions of existence. Essentially, they offer a way to move between dimensions, providing observers with a transcendental perspective. The interdimensional hypothesis, initially sparked by Lane's exploration of ancient cosmological concepts in relation to unidentified objects, underwent gradual development over several decades. In the 1970s, it emerged as a compelling alternative to the well-established extraterrestrial hypothesis. Esteemed experts in the field, including Meade Lane, John Keel, J. Allen Hynek, and Jacques Vallée, endorsed this perspective. The interdimensional hypothesis suggests that unidentified flying objects represent a modern manifestation of a phenomenon that dates back to ancient times. In earlier eras, this phenomenon was often attributed to mythological or supernatural beings. As we delve deeper into the interdimensional hypothesis, we find that it proposes that encounters with unidentified objects aren't limited to interactions with extraterrestrial life forms. Roswell's changing narrative. The famous event that occurred on July 1947 near Roswell, New Mexico, is a significant moment in history. According to the story, a large unidentified craft made contact with the ground in that area. During the same year, a local rancher named William Ware Mack Brazil stumbled upon some wreckage, which he thought was connected to the numerous flying saucer sightings reported at the time. In response to this discovery, the military dispatched Major Jesse Marcel to investigate the crash site and collect the debris. Initially, a press release was issued stating that a flying disc had been recovered. However, the following day, the official account changed, and it was asserted that it was merely a weather balloon. As time passed, the Air Force revised their story once more, declaring that neither version was accurate. Instead, they claimed that the wreckage was, in fact, a device used for espionage, specifically for spying on the Soviet Union. This incident has gained notoriety and remains a subject of much debate and speculation. It's intriguing to note how, paradoxically, the public's interest quickly waned after an initial burst of curiosity. The incident involved the government acknowledging the discovery of wreckage believed to be a flying disc just days earlier. However, as more details emerged about the wreckage, and eyewitnesses shared their accounts of what they had seen at the scene, a newfound interest began to develop. Secrets from those who were there. Distinguished researchers affirm that the events that unfolded in Roswell possess considerable significance within the field of UFO research. They expressed astonishment at the limited public demand for clarification concerning the nature of the object that descended on that fateful day. Conversely, amateur researchers argue that military authorities cannot be deemed unaware and possess the capability to distinguish between a UFO and a mere weather balloon. Intriguingly, it has been reported that the initial revelation confirming the discovered object as a UFO induced a sense of panic among the populace, prompting the military to retract their initial statements. Nonetheless, over the past few decades, former employees who were stationed at the crash site and privy to insider information have courageously come forward to share their testimonies. This thorough examination of the incident, taking into account both the government's initial admission and subsequent retractions, as well as the ongoing revelations provided by individuals present at the crash site, offers a comprehensive perspective on the events in Roswell. The primary objective of this in-depth analysis is to illuminate the essence of this significant occurrence and stimulate further investigation. It's time for today's subscriber pick. Get ready to witness the extraordinary, because this former Army officer just released the clearest images of the entity that landed in New Mexico. You see, in the era of social media, where unusual and extraordinary occurrences frequently make their way into the digital landscape, a rather ordinary evening in Roswell, New Mexico, took an exceptional turn. This intriguing sequence of events commenced when an Army officer uploaded a mysterious photograph to a social media platform. It's worth noting that Roswell has a long-standing reputation for its enigmatic history, forever intertwined with the infamous incident of 1947. The officer in question claimed to have stumbled upon an old photo album replete with black and white images, some of which portrayed a diminutive, otherworldly gray figure resting in a dimly illuminated room. Observers of these photographs noted an uncanny resemblance between the figure and the descriptions of the purported crash survivors, small, gray aliens. A close encounter of the telepathic kind. Matilda O'Donnell McElroy, a highly skilled senior master sergeant in the Women's Air Force, had an extraordinary and captivating experience with a humanoid being. This documented encounter revolves around her interaction with an entity known as Earl. During this encounter, Earl not only shared their name, but also revealed the origins of their existence and the purpose of their visit to Earth. Throughout this remarkable encounter, Matilda received enlightening insights from Earl about their origin and the motives behind their presence on Earth. At the time of this remarkable incident, Matilda was a young 23-year-old. She recounted an intriguing narrative of her ability to establish communication with this humanoid entity using the extraordinary power of telepathy. Earl, the subject of Matilda's interview, exhibited notable differences from Matilda herself, emphasizing the enigmatic nature of their connection. Matilda observed that, unlike her, Earl did not possess a biological existence. However, despite this dissimilarity, Earl bore a female appearance, similar to that of a child in stature. The circumstances leading to their initial connection were truly extraordinary, emerging from a crash that tragically left Matilda as the sole survivor among 3 individuals aboard a vessel. Matilda's astonishing abduction report. Matilda's report corroborates the accounts of numerous individuals who claim to have been abducted. Her findings reveal a fascinating discovery. The physical characteristics of the entities she encountered significantly differ from those of humans. Instead of being composed of biological components, these beings appear to be constructed from synthetic materials. Extensive research into incidents involving mysterious aircraft consistently yields testimonies describing these alleged extraterrestrial entities as exhibiting robotic qualities. This has led to comparisons with functioning machines. Some individuals who have had close encounters with these objects vividly describe their observations of these beings, noting their mechanical-like behavior, which lacks typical human traits. Witnesses have reported their absence of blinking, unusual movements, and a distinct absence of discernible emotional responses. Such accounts reinforce the perception that these encounters involve highly advanced robots. These revelations offer a compelling glimpse into the nature of these encounters and raise intriguing questions about the possible existence of technologically advanced extraterrestrial life forms. In a subsequent interview for a book, Matilda shared her own speculations regarding the composition of the objects. She suggested that they may be constructed from the same advanced materials as the beings themselves. Interestingly, she proposed that both the object and the being could potentially be controlled through the power of the mind. Despite Matilda's extensive interactions with Earl, she noted a certain level of secrecy. Earl appeared reluctant to disclose certain information, leading Matilda to infer that he harbored a lack of trust towards military officials. This realization served as a cautionary reminder for Matilda, prompting her to contemplate the unsettling idea that if aliens themselves were skeptical of humans, it did not bode well for the reputation and trustworthiness of our own species. Additionally, when questioned about her origins, Earl asserted that her civilization had an ancient lineage characterized by immense power and influence. Intriguingly, their overarching objective remained focused on progression and advancement. It became increasingly apparent that Earl's presence on Earth was not a mere coincidence, but rather a purposeful mission undertaken by a formidable and forward-thinking civilization. Glenn Dennis's startling revelation. In a letter authored by McElroy, the writer delves into deep questions that demand humanity's attention. These thought-provoking queries embedded within these very documents encompass the core of our existence. Who are we as a species? What is the origin of our existence? What purpose do we serve on this planet? Additionally, when contemplating the existence of intelligent life beyond Earth, the author raises a significant question. Why haven't they made contact with us? The urgency of the letter underscores the critical need for people to comprehend the potentially dire consequences, both physical and spiritual, if we fail to take decisive action to undo the enduring and far-reaching effects of extraterrestrial interference on our planet. It's important to note that this particular narrative has a connection to an anecdote provided by Glenn Dennis, who worked as a nurse at the Roswell Army Airfield. According to Dennis, she personally witnessed medical professionals examining beings that bore some resemblance to humans, but displayed distinct features such as elongated, slender arms and large, hairless heads. Dennis further disclosed that there were specific requests for caskets designed for children during the same period of time, raising intriguing questions about the nature and origins of these unusual creatures. The inclusion of Glenn Dennis's account adds a compelling layer of detail to the broader Roswell Incident narrative. It sheds more light on the events and has the potential to expand our understanding of what might have transpired. In a television program, UFO hunters conducted an interview with Earl Fulford, an individual who was present at the crash site and participated in the cleanup operation. Earl, one of the few surviving witnesses, shared intriguing details about the incident. He described the recovered material as remarkably lightweight, capable of springing back to its original form when compressed. During the show, the team presented various materials for comparison, including everyday foil and mylar foil. However, Earl immediately recognized that these materials did not match what he had retrieved from the crash site. He emphasized that the material he handled was virtually weightless and possessed a unique property of returning to its original shape, regardless of how much it was manipulated. Earl expressed that he had never encountered anything like it before. Unbeknownst to Earl, the UFO hunters team managed to recreate a material based on his description. When presented with the replicated material, Earl exclaimed that it closely resembled what he had encountered. He stated, "This one feels more like the material. We could squeeze it and it would pop back. The thickness and weight are similar. It gives me chills down my spine." This revelation added an intriguing dimension to the investigation, shedding light on the extraordinary characteristics of the crashed object's material. What added to the disconcerting atmosphere of the photograph was a weird greenish radiance that enveloped the room and the enigmatic entity at its core. In mere minutes after the photograph's posting on social media, it began to generate considerable interest. A wide range of comments flooded in, spanning from expressions of skepticism to fervent excitement. The social media post ignited a surge of speculation, prompting some to question whether this might serve as evidence of the discovery of diminutive humanoid beings at the historical site. At present, these photographs have reignited a fresh fascination with the mysteries surrounding that fateful summer in 1947. Let us know what you think about what we just showed you. The intriguing story of Winchester Landing. When considering the Roswell incident, many believe there's undisclosed information surrounding it. Similarly, the Winchester Landing incident in the mid-1970s, featuring UFO landings and encounters with mysterious beings in Winchester, England, though less known today, drew national attention at the time. Multiple witnesses supported the initial sighting, indicating tangible existence. This phenomenon continues to fascinate and raise questions about advanced life. What adds to the intrigue is that after the initial encounter, Joyce Bowles, the primary witness, experienced subsequent encounters. These consistently involved her interacting with peculiar humanoid beings aboard an otherworldly vehicle. Skeptics exist, but these experiences contain noteworthy details, mirroring those in other close encounters, warranting further examination. Even though these sightings remain unresolved, they remain subjects of great fascination, revisited in hopes of uncovering new insights, additional information, or potential witnesses. In this event, Joyce Bowles, a 42-year-old woman, and her neighbor Ted Pratt, a 60-year-old, were driving toward the village of Chilcomb around 9 in the evening. They noticed an unusual orange glow suspended in the sky, capturing their attention as they proceeded along a peaceful road. Unexpectedly, their car veered right, and the engine revved autonomously, accompanied by a palpable sensation of atmospheric density. Their vehicle stopped against an invisible barrier, with a looming forest ahead. Ted reached for the steering wheel to help Joyce, and the car abruptly halted against the barrier, bending slightly. They spotted a cylindrical object with a cockpit-like region, 3 humanoid figures inside, and a mist-like substance beneath it. 4 jets emitting gases supported the craft, as Ted vividly recalled. One of the figures approached their vehicle, emitting a whistling sound. It wore a shimmering silver-blue boiler suit and exhibited human-like features except for vibrant pink eyes. Ted and Joyce recalled contrasting emotional responses upon seeing this being. The figure interacted with the vehicle and eventually vanished along with the craft. They faced an intangible obstruction when trying to move forward, but eventually continued their journey. This encounter was reported to the local BBC station, leading to a news show appearance and national attention. The story attracted further investigations, additional witnesses, and media coverage. Approximately 6 weeks later, on December 30, 1976, at 6:30 in the evening, Joyce and Ted encountered the same unidentified craft, this time being transported aboard it. They experienced a whistling sound, trembling, and vibrations before their consciousness faded. They found themselves inside the craft, accompanied by humanoid beings, similar to their previous encounter. The beings engaged in limited English conversation and showed them technological devices and star charts. Memories of the encounter remained vague. Afterwards, their car was obstructed, and they found themselves on an unfamiliar road. Around May 1977, Joyce and her friend Anne Strickland witnessed a cigar-shaped object emitting a radiant glow. The craft descended, and a humanoid figure approached, communicating in English. They experienced intense fear before an exchange of information occurred. The craft ascended and vanished. In June, while driving with Ted, they encountered the cigar-shaped craft and humanoid beings again. Communication took place, with the beings conveying warnings about global issues. The encounters ceased afterwards. Joyce had experienced poltergeist-like phenomena since childhood, including moving objects and sightings of a white-robed lady. In 1972, she sought help from the church due to apparitions in her home. She later connected these experiences to the UFO encounters. The Winchester landing incident reveals a complex relationship between alien encounters and the paranormal. Joyce's encounters encompass UFO sightings, interactions with humanoid beings, and a history of paranormal experiences, raising intriguing questions about the nature of these phenomena and their connection to human consciousness. The series of unexplained events in 1976. In the course of their investigation, authorities uncovered multiple additional sightings in close proximity to the initial encounter that took place on November 1976. Notably, Mr. and Mrs. Haynes came forward with their own account, asserting that they had witnessed an individual dressed in a silver outfit near one of the nearby hypermarkets, located approximately 7 miles away from Joyce and Ted's incident. This additional testimony adds further credibility to the overall phenomenon, shedding light on the widespread nature of these sightings during that particular period. Several additional individuals also claimed to have observed similar phenomena, although they did not directly see the occupant who supposedly caused it. Sandra Wheeler, for instance, asserted that she witnessed a luminous orange object hovering in the vicinity of Horton Heath. Similarly, Maureen Lovely reported having observed a remarkably similar object for approximately 20 minutes while in Winchester. Additionally, Mr. and Mrs. Boise from Ulversford reported an additional sighting from a relatively close location, describing the presence of 2 orbs stationed above their heads. These accounts corroborate the existence of the unidentified object and further enhance the credibility of the initial report. In addition to the nearby sightings mentioned earlier, there were also reports from individuals who were farther away from the initial location. One significant incident occurred when Mrs. Atkinson was traveling from Portsmouth to Swindon with several passengers. During their journey, they observed an unusual object hovering above them, adorned with numerous luminous lights. This extraordinary sighting left a lasting impression on the witnesses. Additionally, on the day before Joyce's initial encounter, specifically on the evening of November 14th in Southampton, Mr. Baker had his own remarkable experience. As he was en route to a friend's house at approximately 7 in the evening, he noticed a massive orange disk traversing the sky. While the initial encounter seems highly credible, especially considering the plethora of other witnesses that investigators eventually uncovered, the subsequent encounters took on a more extravagant and fantastical nature. It is worth noting that many of the more outlandish claims regarding interactions with extraterrestrial beings, which have ultimately been proven to be hoaxes or fabrications, often stem from a genuine initial encounter. While the initial encounter presents compelling evidence, further exploration reveals subsequent events that appear to be more sensational and far-fetched. In the realm of extraterrestrial encounters, it is not uncommon to come across instances where genuine experiences serve as a foundation for subsequent falsehoods or exaggerations. Nevertheless, numerous investigators at that time also reached the consensus that there was hardly any motivation for these witnesses to invent such a narrative. This lack of incentive stemmed primarily from the fear of public humiliation and mockery that each witness would inevitably face, especially in light of the subsequent disclosures and revelations. It has also been observed that there may be a correlation between the psychic elements and energies attributed to Joyce Bowles and the UFO sightings she experienced. In fact, over the past few decades, in the 2000s, numerous researchers have proposed a link between unidentified objects and various aspects of the paranormal realm. From this perspective, if we acknowledge the validity of Joyce Bowles' testimonies, these encounters could hold significant significance. The exploration of this connection further delves into the depths of the paranormal, expanding our understanding and enriching our knowledge in this field. If we direct our attention towards the findings put forth by Jenny Randles, she will draw our focus to various similarities observed in another incident that unfolded several months later in Nelson, Lancashire. One of the most noteworthy resemblances was the accounts of witnesses experiencing a peculiar pressing force while the unidentified object remained within their sight, accompanied by the impact it had on the vehicle itself. Nevertheless, there were other notable parallels, including the similar shape of the object itself, as well as the presence of red and orange lights. By delving deeper into Randall's research, we can unravel a multitude of intriguing connections between these two incidents, shedding light on the broader implications and potential explanations behind these extraordinary events. The series of unexplained events in 1976 presents a fascinating and enigmatic puzzle. While the initial encounter and subsequent sightings may raise questions, the evidence and accounts provided by multiple witnesses cannot be easily dismissed. The connection between these events and the broader realm of the paranormal adds an additional layer of intrigue and complexity. As we seek to understand the mysteries of these encounters, it is essential to maintain an open mind and continue exploring the evidence and connections that may provide answers to the questions that persist. Your input and insights in the comments section below will contribute to our collective efforts to unravel these unexplained mysteries. Do you believe that the Roswell incident was a genuine UFO crash or a government cover-up? Share your thoughts in the comments below.